Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Jay and today I'm at home making a simple vegan vanilla cake. My sister actually gave me this recipe. It's one of my favorites because it's a vanilla cake, so you can always add and change the flavors in it and it comes out really good. Today we'll just do the vanilla flavor, but in the future I plan on showing you guys the many other flavors I've done with it. I've made it lemon, I've done a banana foster cake, so this is just the beginning of how the cake starts. So let's get started. So to get started, these are the ingredients you will need for your cake. The flour, if you want to do gluten-free, sometimes I've substituted it for almond flour. I've also done oat flour, but I've also found that oat flour can kind of dry out whatever you're making, so you'd have to tweak your recipe a little bit. But anyway, apple cider vinegar, vanilla extract, baking powder, olive oil, sugar, and flour. And optional ingredients, some powdered sugar and some coconut oil. If you don't have the coconut oil, that's fine. You can use just regular vegan butter. Again, my preferred brand is the Earth Balance soy free. That's just for the glaze on top. I've had this cake many times without the glaze and it was still just as delicious. And I forgot one important ingredient, and that is almond milk. We usually buy the unsweetened original Blue Diamond milk. Unsweetened usually has a lot less ingredients than the sweetened ones. The sweetened ones usually have like natural flavors and extra stuff that you don't really need with a cake, especially because you're already putting sugar and the vanilla. Excuse me. So for measurements, so you want to start by preheating your oven to 365 degrees. And we're going to start with 2 cups of flour. And you're going to use 1 tablespoon of baking powder. 1 cup of sugar, and with the sugar I've honestly used less than 1 cup before and it was still really good. The 1 cup doesn't make it too sweet, but if you don't want your kids on any type of sugar rush, you can use a little less. I've used like 3/4 cup. And you need a 1/2 cup of oil. Now I will say, the very first time I made this cake, I completely forgot the oil and the cake still came out really good. I didn't even notice I forgot the oil. I actually sometimes make this cake and use it as like a morning cake with your coffee. So if you don't want to put oil, that is completely okay. It will still come out fine. In this case, I'm putting in 1/4. Honestly, it's what I have left. But it does call for a 1/2 cup, but 1/4 will do just fine because, like I said, you can use none if you want to. You need 1.5 cup of milk. Two teaspoons of vanilla. And then a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. That's another thing I like about this recipe is the apple cider vinegar is pretty much your replacement for your egg. And most vegan recipes call for applesauce as a replacement, which is still easy to get. But I like that you can just buy a big bottle of apple cider vinegar. And especially if you are like this family, we don't eat applesauce like that, so we don't really have a reason to have it in the house. So you have something like apple cider vinegar that won't get old just sitting there. Plus, when I do make or do get applesauce, I'm usually making it. And then you just want a dash of salt. Something else that I've not put in this recipe many times before, and it still turned out fine. And now we're going to go ahead and mix. So there you go. Something else that was optional with this cake that I completely forgot. So again, this is just a vanilla cake. If you just want vanilla cake, go ahead. You can go here and put it in the pan. Something I like even when it's a vanilla cake is to put cinnamon. One, for the benefits, two, because this family just loves cinnamon. I don't know how much in there, just put some in there. And with this recipe, it will be a little bit juicier than the usual cake, a normal non-vegan cake. Smells delicious. Mine's actually not as juicy as it usually is because of that little bit less of oil that I put in there, or didn't put in there. And now we will put it in a lightly greased pan and get it ready for baking. So this is a 9 by 9, 2 inches high pan. This recipe is also very easy to double, or I've even made it half. When I did half, I also used this pan, and it just came out like a really thin cake. Not too thin, but just thinner. I've also done this in a bigger pan, and of course, it would come out thinner then too, but this pan size for the recipe given is pretty perfect. Might help if I had a spatula. Let me grab one. All right, now we go in the oven and we wait about 20-25 minutes. You would check it just like a normal cake. Just put a toothpick or a fork and make sure it's not too wet or sticky on the inside, and you're done. So while that's in the oven, I just want to say again, this is a very easy, affordable cake to make. I've also given it to people that consume dairy and they still thought it was still a delicious cake. And kids love it. It's not like they can tell the difference. And this is a recipe from my sister. If you have kids, she and her boys have a channel, Benai and BJ. So go ahead and check their channel out. And now I'm going to show you guys how to make the glaze on top if you want to. If you want to wait till after and then check to see without the glaze how it tastes, I recommend it because again, it tastes just fine without the glaze, but I'm going to show you how to make it regardless. So there's two different types of glazes you can make for this cake. One is with coconut oil. If you like coconut flavored things, and me personally, I just prefer this one, but I love coconut. So coconut oil and sugar, or you can just make a plain sugary frosting type glaze, and that's just with the butter. Again, try and remember that when using vegan butter, it's not like regular butter where it has, I guess, the fats to kind of hold it together. So not to say it's impossible, but it's actually really hard to make a frosting unless you just want a very sugary frosting. Me personally, I don't like frosting. That's why I call it a glaze, because it's usually more of the oil or butter than the actual sugar. If you want to make it more frosting-like, go ahead and put the sugar. I know my sister, she makes this for kids' birthday parties and things. She will put the glaze and then just put the sprinkles or decorations on top. So it still has that, it can still have that fun kid look at a birthday party. Another thing to kind of keep it frosting like is don't melt your butter. You have the option of melting the butter in this recipe. but I feel like that makes it more glazy. So if you want to keep it a little thick, then I would say don't melt your butter. I don't even melt mine, but I put it on the cake while it's hot, so it still turns into a glaze regardless. So you're going to use about 2 cups of powdered sugar and about a 1/2 cup of your oil or butter. What I'm about to show you is honestly going to be less than that, because to me, in my opinion, it doesn't need to be that sweet. The cake itself is enough for me. So I guess I'll use about 2 tablespoons or so. And I'm gonna go ahead and use the coconut oil. Now you can kind of adjust this to how sweet you want yours to be. Excuse me. I kind of just taste it as I go. If it's too sugary, then I'll add more oil. Kind of just melt it down in there as you're stirring it. And just keep adding until it turns to whatever you want. Again, it's just as simple as the more powdered sugar you use, the sweeter it's gonna be. Okay. So this is it, about done. So as you see, I didn't melt the coconut oil, so it is a little bit on the thicker side. But again, once you put on the cake, it's going to thin out. If you know coconut oil, you know it takes nothing for it to kind of melt away. A little heat will go ahead and melt that out. You can wait till the cake cools down, put it on there then, and I don't know, in my opinion, it's still not going to hold as thick as an icing. All right, so we'll take this out. Uh-oh, my thumb went in the cake. Something I forgot to mention is the time I gave was for cupcakes. So 20 and 25 for cupcakes. I would say about 30 for a cake. But this is your finished product. And ignore the thumbprint. What I'll do is I will glaze half of it now while it's hot so you can see how that comes out, and then once it cools down I'll do the other half so we can see how the glaze will turn out once it's cooled down. Excuse the crying. So because this cake is just for my family, I do like to poke holes. Sorry, I already started up there. Just to let the glaze kind of go through. I think it tastes better. It gives the cake, if you want coconut cake, it gives it a nice coconutty flavor on the inside a little bit. So again, I'm gonna do half now, just so you can see. Again, I did it by taste, the measurements, and it doesn't taste too sugary, not too coconutty. Might help if I hold the pan. And it's hot. This is just pull out the oven, and I kind of just layer it on there. But as you see, it's gone. So again, it's not really an icing, but a glaze. Okay, not too much. If you look at the bowl amount, there's still a lot left. And again, the recipe called for 2 cups for this, so it was a lot compared to what I use or actually need, because to me this is sweet enough. All right, in my thumb hole. As much as you want. If you are a sweets person, and I'm a sweets person actually, and I still don't think it's enough. All right, sometimes when I serve it, I'll still put a little on top. And I'll save the rest. Oh, maybe I shouldn't put the hot spoon in there. For when it cools down, and I will show you how that looks. So now that the cake has cooled down, I'm gonna go ahead and add the rest. It softened up. I left it out. You might want to put it in the fridge. But as you see, it's still, I mean, I guess if you have the 2 cups of it, it would come out thicker. So like I said, right now it's coming off more icing-y, a little thicker. But I feel like it would still take a lot to be like an icing. So it's still not gonna be as thick as an icing. It's going to thin out no matter what. But again, while it's like this, go ahead and add your sprinkles and your letters or whatever you want to add. I definitely wouldn't write on it with liquid letters. I would use like candy letters or some sort. When my sister does it, she usually makes cupcakes, and I actually think that's a better idea. But yes, you get the point. So there you have a vanilla cake with a coconut frosting or regular frosting if you want. I'm not gonna add any decorations because this is just for the house, but there you are. And there you have it. Coconut vanilla vegan cake. Here you have, I sprinkled some more cinnamon on top. You don't have to if you don't want to, but your vegan cake. And as you can see, it's very moist. It's not, you don't have to worry about it ever being dry. It's a very moist cake, but not too moist where it's like tres leches level or anything like that. But enjoy. I hope this was easy and affordable for you. And there you have it. I hope this was an easy recipe for you, and I hope it's delicious. I can't wait to show you guys my favorite, my whole family's favorite, which is the banana foster version of this cake. It is the bomb. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to see more recipes. I will be doing more on the channel. This is only the beginning. I'm not only here to share what I know, but I'm also here to learn a little more. So please comment. And I hope to see you guys in the next video.